We know that Adam Wingard wants to bring Destroyah into the next Godzilla movies, but in this video I've picked out 4 supervillains who could also make an appearance soon in the Monsterverse and cause a lot of trouble. Do you want to know who these 4 villains are? Then come with me in this video where I'll list them, and I want to know if you agree with me or not with what will be on this list. Welcome back to Nerds Insights, your daily nerd news channel. After that awesome interview Adam Wingard gave to Discussing Films, expressing his desire to bring Destroyah into the Monsterverse as a way to pay homage to the Heisei and Showa eras of Godzilla, but focused on the Godzilla vs. Destroyah movie from 1995, the fans went wild. Destroyah in the Monsterverse is a dream that everyone wants to see, especially given the level of power that the Monsterverse has reached. We have a Kong with a dorsal plate axe from Godzilla, a very powerful gauntlet, and the help of Titano Shimo, the kaiju that in my opinion has the potential to be the strongest in the Monsterverse so far. On the other side, we also have a Godzilla in its strongest, most evolved and most powerful form, the Pink Godzilla. So since the Scar King was not even close to being a threat to them, we really need a threat now, a destructive being, a being that truly poses a threat to the Monsterverse like King Ghidorah did, which in my opinion was the greatest threat that the legendary world has ever had. However, Destroyah is not the only one capable of bringing a high level of threat and maybe forming a new empire in the Monsterverse. In this video, I've selected 4 villains that you know, who could show up in the Monsterverse and make sense to appear at this time, that could be as much trouble as Destroyah, maybe in Godzilla 3, maybe in Kong 2, we don't know yet. But before that, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because we have nerd videos every day. Let's dive in. First is Biollante. Let's start with Biollante, who was even having rumors and some alleged leaked photos that he would be in the post-credits scene of Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, but it turns out that this film didn't even have a post-credits scene. Biollante is a rose, humanoid, mutant Godzilla hybrid kaiju that first appeared in Toho's 1989 film Godzilla vs. Biollante and has since appeared in various licensed video games and comic book stories. So we are left longing and hoping to see Biollante in future Monsterverse films, and Biollante is that story. He's coming, he's not coming, he's coming, he's not coming, so probably at some point he will appear, but we still don't have anything concrete to say that he will appear already, but at some point he will. Second is Space Godzilla. So far in the Monsterverse, we've had Godzilla, Titanus Doug, and Mechagodzilla. We're just missing Space Godzilla, and if the rumors about the story of Titano Shimo and King Ghidorah are true, everything makes sense for Space Godzilla too. Space Godzilla is a Godzilla clone kaiju that first appeared in Toho's 1994 film, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. As the main antagonist, Godzilla's cells were thrown into space, precisely into a black hole, and thus Space Godzilla originated. So to complete the trio of villains, we just need Space Godzilla to arrive. Maybe not right now, it might take a little longer, since we're a bit saturated with Godzilla, because we already had Mechagodzilla in 2021, so it's still very recent, so I think they'll hold back, especially with Space Godzilla. But Space Godzilla is so unique, so iconic, so symbolic for the kaiju franchise, that at some point Legendary will have to bring Space Godzilla to the Monsterverse. Anguirus and King Caesar. These two are fan favorites, especially for those who are more seasoned in watching the Godzilla films produced by Toho. They would go crazy if these two appeared in a Monsterverse movie. They have very original stories, with a really cool mythology behind them, especially King Caesar. They would greatly enrich the stories of the Monsterverse. A while back, when we were still theorizing about Godzilla vs. Kong and the New Empire, we sometimes speculated that the Scar King could be a Hollywood version of King Caesar and that Shirmu could be a version of Anguirus. Later, we saw that it didn't make any sense, but at that time we didn't have much information about who was who, so it was just speculation and theories. But if they really appeared in a movie, like King Caesar there, in a Kong movie, it would be so good. I'm sure you would love it. The next on this list is Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl had many theories about him in Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, and there were confirmations that he would be present in some Monsterverse movie, which makes a lot of sense. Quetzalcoatl is already a titan, a kind of deity. He would be more of a deity than Mothra, let's say, not to mention that he is speculated to be the largest kaiju that the Monsterverse will ever see, and also the most beautiful. So if he appears as a villain, maybe in a solo movie of his own so as not to be totally tied to Godzilla and Kong, or in a movie with the two of them together, it would be really cool. He would have an appearance like that of a rainbow dragon, very beautiful. It would be like a glimpse for us watching on the screen. We don't know more or less what his story would be, because the Monsterverse hasn't even mentioned his existence, but they also never mention the existence of Tiamat, and he was there in the movie, so let's stay tuned, and I think it would greatly enrich the divine kaijus of the Monsterverse. And lastly but not least, the new kaiju. Of course, we know that Legendary is wanting to invest in its own titans, its original titans, as a way to be more original, not just copying Toho but also as a way to avoid paying royalties. That's how it was with the Phosphora Titan, but people complained so much that it looked so much like Mothra, people talked so much, that they decided to pay the royalties for Mothra and stick with Mothra. But if they had developed a better story, Phosphora would have been very welcome in the Monsterverse, and I'll go further, we can't totally rule out the Phosphora Titan from the Monsterverse because it already has a fully ready design. It physically doesn't look much like Mothra, so you can differentiate who is who. So if Legendary created a new kaiju, totally different from what we've already seen in the monster universe, it would also be very welcome. Just like Scar and Shirmu, they are titans that don't exist for nothing, they are Legendary's original titans, which we liked a lot and are very welcome in the Monsterverse, so they might also bring a new, different kaiju for us. Click on that button now and subscribe to the channel. We have news about the nerd world every day and you don't want to be left behind, right? Also leave a like on this video to show your support and comment to me, which kaiju would you like to see as a villain in the Monsterverse? I'm already reading your comment and giving a little heart. See you later, alligator.